back, guys. Let me see. Hopefully this works, because I'm going to be very, very, very disappointed if it doesn't work. But, this further confirms why I will forever be a book, pen, and paper kind of girl. They never fail me. I mean, the pen runs dry sometimes, but that's an easy fix. But, however, happy, beautiful Tuesday. Um, I'm hoping that Instagram does not.
I was about to cry. I thought the internet was about to do me dirty.
I don't know what was happening. I requested
I know.
twice.
It just kept saying we couldn't join. I don't know. That's why I was like, let me just end it and restart it and see what happens. Hi.
How are you?
How are you? We're formally meeting.
Right.
So you can go first since you're the guest. I'll let you introduce yourself, give some insight on you, because most of my followers already know who I am. So I'll go after you. And then we'll jump right into the fun stuff.
All right. My name is Lanice. I'm 28. My son is 4 years old. He was diagnosed with autism at 2. His name is Caden. I'm gonna try to get him to come in the camera, like just say hi. I don't know what's going on.
I'm hiding from mine, so you try. I'm hiding.
I'm gonna try to get him to pop up and like maybe just he don't talk, but just show his face.
No, I get it. My daughter is the same way. Like, I don't want to say she's nonverbal. I guess I'll say selective mutism because she does talk. It's just random.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He doesn't say anything, but he still babbles a lot.
Mm-hmm.
He communicates with me though, like he'll like go get something and bring it to me. Like if he wants chips or something, he'll go get it and put it in my hand, like open these or go get juice
Right.
or walk
So
me
he'll
to the
do
fridge.
yeah. She does a lot of gestures too. She does a whole lot more gestures than she uses her words. But hi. Hi, cutie.
Say hi.
He's like, I don't have time for this. I have things to get into.
Thank you.
All right, cool. So before you get into your son and everything, like just tell me about you. Like before all this happened, give me a brief insight about you because I know that's how I found you. I saw that you do like this community drive, which I wish I knew about it. I would have came because I saw it after someone went to the event and they posted, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's decent. So just tell us about you because it's so easy for us as women. It's like once we become mom, when somebody say tell you about you. It's just like it's instantly we go straight to the mom category and all the things that we're doing, how super mom we are. It's just like we skip everything else about us individually. But the live is primarily going to be about our babies, so we'll start with just us first. Okay. So everybody can kind of grab some inspiration about how you're dealing life and being a mom with a child with autism.
Okay. I don't know what to say about
what do you do?
I'm a medical assistant. I work at a pediatric.
I was too.
Yep, I work at a pediatric office with the kids. Like I think I told you I'm 28. I don't know, I'm outgoing. I'm a people person. I love people.
So how did you start your foundation? How's that going? How long did you have that foundation going?
So my son got diagnosed right before he turned two. No, right after he turned 2, sorry. And it was during COVID, like 2020. COVID. And I was like super depressed when I found out. Yeah. And I kind of knew already prior to us getting the extra diagnosis. I knew, but I was hoping that it would be something else. So, like I said, it was COVID, so we were stuck in the house. So I just had a lot of like thinking time, and I had just said to his dad one day, like, at first I'm like, I didn't even call. I just thought I want to do something where we like raise awareness in the community because autism. I'm be honest. When I was pregnant, that was the last thing on my mind. My baby. I was thinking my baby might come out.
I'm smiling because it's so funny when I have these conversations. It's like almost the same pattern. Like nobody thinks like you're not thinking that far. It's just like I'm having a healthy baby. And
right. And that was all I thought of. Like I had my son whole life planned out and like. God gave me a reality check. It is nothing like I thought it was going to be. Trust me. But yeah,
Trust
I was
me.
just like I said, I was in the house a lot. I was like super depressed. I went through like a really, really depressing state. And I had said to the dad one day, like, I want to do something like, you know, fun and just raise awareness. So we were sitting there thinking, so I'm like, oh, I'm gonna get like, you know, some toys and stuff for the kids, some food, free stuff. You know, people here free, they gonna come out. So like, I'm gonna have everything
They
free.
will come.
They gonna come. So the first year was good, but it was like
Okay.
all over the place as well. Like, it was my
Right.
first year. I was just winging it. So
Sometimes you just gotta wing
yeah.
it to get started.
So I'm like, all right.
Honestly.
So I see where I went wrong the first year. So I'm like, all right, next year we're gonna do this. So this is the one that we just had was our third one. So this year was like the best year ever. But
Yes.
yeah, that's basically why I started it, just so people, because I know, especially my friends, like all my friends my age pretty much have kids, and my kid's the only one that has autism. So like I said, it's not something
That's
that's really
so funny. We like have like a crazy connection. All my friends have kids, and I'm the only one with the kid with autism.
Yeah.
And it's so funny. I'm super like proud of you though, and I commend you that you're dealing with it. I'm not saying you didn't have emotional moments, but it seemed like you thought faster than I did, because I didn't find out until they started speculating about it when she turned 3.
Okay.
What's crazy was, and I always say I'm going to look into that some more because I didn't want to put like false claims out there, but when I was breastfeeding, because I breastfeed until she was almost 2, she was talking. She said mom at like 3 months. I heard her say that when she was like 5 months. She said dad. She was counting. She was doing all this stuff. When I stopped breastfeeding, and which is what the evaluator said to me, she said it's possible that she had a, what did she call it, a regression, like something, she went backward. And it's crazy because I'm like, she was doing all of that so fast. And it was like, once I stopped breastfeeding, something happened because it stopped, right? And so when they started speculating, I'm like, she's 3. Like, oh my God, give her a break. Like, I was really in denial. I'm like, just give her some time. She's gonna do like little stuff they were pointing out. I'm just like, I didn't think that was a big deal. Like, kids needed to point and do this and do that. Like, it's not that serious in my mind. So I was hoping it would be something different. Yeah. And it was crazy because it was during COVID, so I had to wait a whole year to actually get the appointment for her to get the evaluation. So by the time we found out, she was 4.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
4, yeah, she was like 4. And that day was just, it was almost like the worst, not the worst news I've ever received, but it was not something I wanted to receive. And like you said, I did not see that. My pregnancy was perfect. My delivery was perfect. Right. She was born with no complications, no issues. So nobody couldn't prepare me that this was going to be like, you know, the average normal experience of motherhood. It was very different. And when it knocked the wind out of me. It literally knocked me into a whole different mindset, feelings, thought. I was, and now I can say it, I think I was slightly depressed about it, and I was very angry about it. Yeah. And I wouldn't talk about it. Like, every time my mom would try to push to say things or try to, you know, suggest certain things, I would get upset because I'm like, can you stop? Like, it's almost like you're telling me something's wrong with her. Like, nothing's wrong with her. And I'm like, I had to keep telling myself, like, she was diagnosed. So it's like, it's official. Yeah. It's not longer. It's no longer like you're guessing it's something wrong. And it took me months. It took me months until I finally, like, it was blocking my creativity. I couldn't think or really do anything that I really wanted to do because I was just so emotionally bound to this feeling. And I just was like, I was scared. I was worried. I'm like, this is not what I had planned. Yeah. This is not it. I felt like I was robbed of a normal experience. It was it was so much negative. Some of the stuff I didn't even want to say out loud because I'm like, that's just so negative to think because I know other people have children that experience it. And I'm like, I don't want them to feel like I'm saying like it's something bad for them, but this is just how I felt about it. Yeah. I couldn't receive it properly.
I had to realize that, like, I'm entitled to feel how I feel. This is my kid. Like, I remember when my son was like, his birthday is in October. He was 1, but it was like January. So he's like freshly 1. And we were saying my cousin. I can't remember exactly what he was doing, but he was doing something in the living room. And my cousin, she's a little older than me or whatever. She had said to me, I can't remember like her exactly. She had said something like, you know, did you talk to his doctor about?
I used to hate that question. People just used to randomly say that stuff to me. Oh, and it used to just drive me crazy. Like, why would you just say that?
Like, talk to her about what? So she was like, you know, he you know, he's showing like signs that he could be delayed. So I'm like, what? Like, no. So I had went home that night. I was so mad that she had said that. Like I was like, what is she seeing? Like, whatever. So a couple days went by, and I'm like, damn, he is doing it. They started doing something else. I'm like, he is doing it. So we had an appointment probably like 2 or 3 weeks after, and I had mentioned it to his doctor. Doctor told me he was showing signs of it, but she couldn't diagnose him. So she referred me out to the specialist. And mind you, now we're in February, and right after that, COVID hit. So when I called them to get an appointment, mind you, we're in now the beginning of March. She told me that he wasn't going to be seen till the following February. Like, I was like,
girl, I didn't get him seen. She wasn't seen till the following October. It's
like, no,
a long time.
I can't wait that long. So now as we progressing now, he just doing more stuff. And I'm like, all right.
Yeah, that's exactly how it happened. Like once they started, I think she went to her doctor's appointment. That's what like officially like put the thing in motion, because the doctor was like, you know, she's not pointing. Does she answer when you say her name? And she's like, man, I'm like, sometimes she does, but sometimes she kind of ignores. I thought she was just purposely ignoring us or whatever. He's like, she's not answering to her name, and she giving eye contact and all this stuff. And it's like once he asked that stuff, I started noticing her do it. So I'm like, okay, maybe he was just tripping, because she's starting to do it now. So I didn't understand those questions at first. And, you know, other people used to say it to me like, have you ever got her evaluated before? Or like questions like that. So I used to be so upset by that. Like, do not. Why would you just ask me that? I didn't like that question at all. Yeah. So I know you said you started thinking of ways, which I thought about that, but I just couldn't bring myself to do it. Because my instant thing was just like, I have to protect her from everybody. I never said it out loud. I never told anybody. If it wasn't my mom, and I took a while before I actually said it. I took so long to say it to my mom that one day she just said to me, like, whatever happened to the evaluation? Did she go? And I'm like, dang, I really blocked this out. I forgot. I never said it to her. That's how much I didn't want to talk about it. I think I even said it to my husband, like, can we just keep this to ourselves for the time being? Because I don't know how I'm processing this, and I don't want to have this conversation with everybody.
Yeah. My family and his dad's family, they're like both sides is big are big family. So we found out October, 2 days after his birthday, and like I was telling him, because his dad was kind of on the fence, like, we ain't got to tell nobody, like, you know, whatever. And I was telling him what we do, because my son used to be like a little aggressive when he doesn't like you in his face. So he used to be like, Duty, hey, and he'll like get in defense mode and like start swinging, and they be like yeah. So I just like, listen, we didn't let everybody know, just so y'all gotta be more cautious when you see him. Like my son, before he didn't like all that stuff. Like when I used to come in the house and I'm loud. I'm like probably one of the loudest people you know. So I used to come home like, I had to realize, like, when I come in the house, I would just go sit down and I just chill, and I had to wait for him to come over to me. Then he's like, oh, all right, mommy, he's home.
That's the thing. And that was the weird thing with my daughter, too. She was very receptive to my hypeness, because I would always approach her, like, super hype. But whereas, like, when her dad would come home, it's almost like she would have to wait a minute. Like, he would have to wait for her to actually pay him some mind. Yeah. But I did notice that when it came to, like, affection. Like, if you tried to kiss her or something like that, she would always do this thing. Yeah. And we just thought, she ain't want to be by nobody. I'm just like, she is not affectionate at all, whatever. It's just simple things that I just did not connect it to that being the reason or associated to anything other than the fact that she just didn't want to be bothered.
Like, that never crossed your mind. Like, no.
It did. It did not. So share with me the lows. Like, what were some of the lows for you once he was diagnosed, and just really putting it into perspective? Like, you know, this is life. This is how he's going to be for the rest of his life. How is life going to look now? How were your low moments processing that?
So like I told you, the day that we got him actually evaluated, by this time we already like 8 months in, so I knew. But I'm just like, maybe we'll go to the appointment today. They're gonna say, no, you crazy. Like, that's not it. So we were in there for 5 minutes, and the lady was like, yeah, like, he's autistic. Then she started doing a little test. She did a puzzle with him. She tried to do, like, you know, dramatic play with him, the coloring and everything, and he was like not receptive to it. At the appointment, it was cool. I mean, I did cry a little, but whatever. Me and my boyfriend had left. He had like parted ways or whatever. He what about that? What about mine? And I had to my mom's job because they had gave me this pamphlet and it's called 90 Days After Autism. And I was trying to like with my mom and them, so everybody like, you know, be on the same page. So I went to my mom's job and she came outside and she like, you know, how the appointment go? And I just like bust out in tears. I don't know what to do. Like, I can't believe this. Like, I was so stressed. And I was like being like, I was super mean at the time. Like, just people around me, just like people around me and stuff. I think it was more so, like I told you, all my friends that's my age got kids. Like, they're all around the same age. They walking, they talking, they doing everything. And it's just like, then it's my baby. He took forever to walk. He not saying nothing. Yep. He didn't look me in my eyes. And I think that was the worst part about it. Like, I couldn't understand how you're not looking at me. Like, do you love me? Like, I love you so much. Why are you not looking at me? I think that was the hardest part for me. Like, him not, he wasn't like affectionate to me at all. And I'm a very affectionate person. Like, I want to hug, kiss you. Like, I was just loving on him so bad. Like, and I would literally tell my mom prior, before like we even got it diagnosed, I was telling my mom, like, he don't look me in my eyes. And when I had him, like, you talked about how your pregnancy was so easy. My pregnancy was easy, but my delivery, the worst. I went in on Tuesday. I got induced. I didn't have him till Thursday. So I was in the hospital for 2 days. He wouldn't dilate past 5 centimeters. So I had to end up getting a C-section. I had the worst pregnancy.
Oh, man.
So when he finally did come out, mind you, I'm exhausted now. I was in labor for 2 days. Like, I didn't even skin with him. He did it with his dad. So I always felt like he was more connected to his dad because I didn't skin to skin with him. So I was feeling like, it's my fault. This is why he don't like me. This is why he don't look me in my eyes. My mom was like, no, you're thinking too much into it. Like, he know you his mom. Because I was telling my mom, like, what if he don't know that I'm his mom? Because his dad always had tight knit bond. And I think it's because they skin to skin. So that was like another thing. I'm like,
it's crazy because she kind of went back and forth.
With you and Dad?
She went back and forth a little bit. Sometimes there was this kind of, like, we did notice, like, if you dropped her off, she didn't cry. It was almost like she didn't care. Like, we was like, yeah, this baby don't even care if you leave her. Like, I mean, on one end it was a good thing, but on the other, it's like, well, damn, like, you just wanted to get away from us. Like, she never cried. Like, if you left her anywhere, it's like, and that's where sometimes I would notice, I was like, is there like an emotional disconnect or something? But then she was always so playful with me at other times. Like, as long as I sang to her and did stuff, she connected with me. But it was always through music. Now that I'm looking back at it, it was always through music. But when it came to like conversation or just like dialogue, she wasn't connected. And we started noticing after a while, it was just like, she really doesn't say mom or dad. Like, I think we just have become so accustomed to like doing everything for her, and as soon as she woke up, we knew it was time to eat, this, that, and the third. So she never really would say, like, Mom, I want this, or attempt to, because she just knew, like, I'm up, they're about to feed me, they're about to do everything. Everything's kind of done. So I started noticing, I'm like, she doesn't say mom or dad, like, neither. And at this point, she's 2 and 3, and I'm like, she doesn't say neither. And I'm like, okay, well, maybe it's not that big of a deal. Every kid don't say mom or dad all day long.
Right.
But the part where you express like all your kids, their kids are running around and things like that, that was very difficult, especially when I would like see other people and their kids that are the same age or younger than her were like doing all this stuff, and I'm just like why is my child doing this? Like,
cousin was pregnant at the same time. Our kids are literally 2 months apart. Her daughter was doing everything like super fast. Like, she walked in and my son, they only 2 months apart. Like her daughter talking, I'm like, why is it? So I had a hard time. I kept comparing it to her. My mom was telling me, for one, girls sometimes are faster, so don't compare. They should just say you can't compare kids. Everybody, like, you know, on their own path. So I'm just like, all right, whatever. Because when he, like I say, turned 1 in October. November, we was at my house. He took like 4 or 5 steps. So, oh, he walking in. Never walked again until February. That was the only time he walked until February. Now, not walking. I see little babies 1 year old. They running and they chasing them. Why are you not walking? And the doctor and
wait, your phone started breaking up. I don't know what just happened. Either someone called or something. It just started staticking as you were saying that.
You can hear me now?
But, yeah.
When we started physical therapy, he wasn't like, even when he started walking, if stuff was on the floor and stuff over it, like walk all the way around, like lift. Like, he didn't go up and down the steps. He didn't jump, he didn't run, he didn't do anything.
Yeah.
So we had started physical therapy, and once we did physical therapy, he started like, you know, going up
Yeah.
steps on his own, you know, running, jump. Like now he does everything. He'll skip, hop, jump. Like that's all that boy does is jump now. But it was like it was hard, especially during COVID. It was hard because with the stuff, it was virtual, and then once we was able to finally go in person, we he had to do the mask thing, and he was for a while he was to talk to people mask on. He wanted to pull.
She still don't wear them. She still don't put
Yeah,
that mask on. My baby never wear them.
His face, like ain't nothing going on his face.
No hats, no mask, no hood. It could be raining. That girl don't care. It's pouring down.
He don't even have the umbrella on top of his head.
No, she doesn't.
He do not.
Nothing. Nothing.
Yes,
And it's so crazy. And that's why. That's one of the things I had to tell myself. Like, what you're going through is not something for you to be ashamed of or hold it into yourself, because you never know how it helps other people. And it's so crazy hearing that, you know, your son was diagnosed much earlier. And also the fact that you had to go through, like, physical therapy and all that stuff. I didn't, you know, fortunately, I didn't have to experience that, because she walked when she was, like, 9 months. Right before she turned 1, she walked. So that's why it was so weird, because I felt like she was doing a lot of stuff so fast. And then all of a sudden, she just slowed down in some areas. So I was just like, I don't understand how that works. Like, she was literally moving one pace, one time. And I felt the same. I was like, maybe I stopped breastfeeding too fast or something. Because as soon as I stopped breastfeeding, then once a day or so, I was substituting with, like, formula, which is something I did not want to do. And I ended up doing that. And I just felt like, even though I was still making her natural foods and stuff like that, fruits and vegetables and smoothies, and I just felt like something went wrong once I stopped breastfeeding. That's where I thought about it. And I'm like, 2 years was a good time, but I just still feel like it was too fast, and because something changed.
I'm like, maybe it's because I didn't breastfeed them. They have something like it's dead. You know, people put a lot of it. Oh, because you fed him this. Or, so I kept trying to figure out, like, is this my fault? Like, it was something I ate.
Right.
And I was thinking it, like, because I didn't breastfeed. I tried to breastfeed. Yeah. I told you I had a C-section, and he wouldn't latch to my. They kept trying to give him a latch. We tried like 3 times. He wouldn't latch. They told me to pump, and it was so bad on my incision when the pump was like on my breast. It was pulling up my so I couldn't do it. Like, the pain was unbearable. And once I
know that hurt it, because that pump hurt me, and I didn't have a C-section, but I hated that pump. It really
that
hurt.
was the worst. So I was like, I can't do it.
So you didn't get to breastfeed, okay? She latched on pretty fast. I did have her 3 weeks early, so I also thought that might have been a reason. She was early. She was really tiny when she was on 5 pounds, 15 ounces. But they said everything was fine. They tested her. She latched on. I think she went to the bathroom the next day. To me, everything was fine. So I didn't think that. So I started to rule that out. I'm just like, she was fine though. We were in the hospital. She latched on. She didn't have an issue with that. She was up. She functioned. She opened her eyes. Everything seemed normal. But what was the key thing that kind of helped you to, like, come to terms with it? Was it the support of your friends, your family? Was it just finally getting to a place where you felt like you just had to be okay with this, no matter how you felt about it? Because for me, it was more so support and understanding, like, this is not a burden. This is not like a death sentence. This is not the worst thing in the world that can happen to you as a mom. It's just a different experience. Yeah. So I started to, like, look closely at all the uniqueness that came with her, and, like, stuff she would do that I find so fascinating, how she operates, and when she surprises me with her words here and there. And she probably doesn't do it often because I act a fool when she does it. So she's like, no, I don't have time for this.
Yeah, it was his dad. Me and his dad, his dad was real supportive about it. And then all my friends, like I said, none of them have kids, but my family and my friends, they was, like, very supportive. Like, it wasn't for them, I would have been, like, at deep state. They always engaged, and they kept letting me know, like, you're not in this by yourself. Like, you know, we got you. My sister, she was, like, real supportive. She used to help with therapy and stuff, because he still had therapy, like, twice a week. He goes to therapy outpatient twice a week, and then he's supposed to have services at school twice a week. But the company we're using right now, they're short staffed, so he hasn't really been getting services at school. But my sister used to help take the burden off of us sometimes to take him to his appointments and stuff. Like, you know, it was a lot, but my mom, she was supportive.
I'm like super grateful listening to your experience, because
I
got when they say it could always be worse, like, you have to trust and believe that it could really always be worse. And I think the more I open myself to, like, expose myself to it and other people and hearing other people, it was like that's another way how I got better with handling it, because I just felt like it was the worst thing in the world that was happening to me. Like, I'm the only person experiencing this. And like you said, your friends, none of my friends has kids with autism, but the way they received it, they were like, oh my God, it made me feel like sad. They were just like, oh, okay, like, to them, it was like nothing. It was like, oh yeah, no, I got a niece that has autism and this, that, and that. Like, they gave me that feeling like, okay, it's not that strange. Like, you know, it's gonna be okay. Like, you know, and my one girlfriend, she's always just like, man, there's nothing wrong with that girl. Of course, she knows she's diagnosed and whatever, but she's always like encouraging to the point where, like, you think she can't do certain things, or you think she's not understanding certain things, but I'm telling you, she does. And, you know, she says that, and she does always surprise me and do certain things. I'm just like, this girl be playing games sometimes. I really think she's playing with me. But it was not the easiest transition in the world at all. And I think support is like super duper important. And once I finally allowed myself to break through the emotional feelings of it, I was just like, okay, well, I hate lives, but I feel like I need to talk about this. I feel like I need to share. I need to connect with more people, because I'm a homebody, so I will never connect with people just on a day-to-day. So I figure the best way is through the internet that I do not like that much, and, you know, get over my fear of lives and just like really hear from other people, offer any type of support. And
my hands are
that's why when you said it's my first time, I was like, oh girl, don't feel bad. Every time I get on, this my first time, because I'm terrified every single time. But, you know, it's like a crazy blessing in disguise, because like for me, I realized we had to learn like her love language. Is that something you've identified? Because that was the thing, like you said, the connectivity is just different, so we had to learn like her love language. Like these days she's a lot more expressive, like physically, like she hugs a lot more, she kisses you a lot more these days. She also has like a talking device. She does get services at school when she was at daycare and now in kindergarten, so she has progressed a lot as far as like her connectivity to people.
right.
Like when she sees you, she's excited. Like, oh, that used to hurt me when I would pick her up from school or daycare, and all the other kids are like,
Right.
Mom, and she's just like,
Break
okay,
my heart.
you're here to get me.
Here.
It's like the other day, it was like a few weeks ago, I went to pick her up from school, and she came out the building, and she turned and she saw me. She was just like, Mom. I'm like, who, me? Like, yeah, girl, I'm your mom. But she had a smile on her face, so I knew it wasn't like just repeating what she was told. She was expressing that she was happy to see me. And at first it wasn't consistent, but now it's like when I go pick her up, she smiles and she hugs me and she kisses me and she like rubs my nose and she does all this stuff.
Yeah.
Like, oh, my baby loves me. But we had to learn. But even before she started doing it, what she would do is like pick up pictures of me and her dad, or pictures that she was in with us, and like walk around with them. I'm just like, why is she walking around with this picture all day long? Like all day, you couldn't get her away. That's why all of our picture frames ended up being broken, because she broke them, took all the pictures out of it, walk around with the pictures and everything. And now we kind of realized what it was. It was always this admiration, because she does it now physically, like towards us. She will hug him, kiss him, they come over to me, hug. And so I was like, okay, so that's what it was. It was this. That's what she was trying to reciprocate, but through the pictures.
Yeah.
Right. So how is that for you? Like, you know, grasping and connecting.
We connect a lot.
Yeah, that's good.
He was on the bed, and he was sitting on his bed watching TV. He's like super into Boss Baby and Secret Life of the Pet. You put one of them on, he good to go. He was on TV, and I kept telling him like, I always tell him I love you. Hopefully he'll repeat it one day. Like just
me too.
I'm spending the time to hear him say like, "Mommy, I love you," and that'll be it. That's all he got.
No.
So he was sitting there on the bed, and I was like kissing on him and stuff, and he was like, "I pay me no mind," and I'm like, "Do you love mommy? Like, tell mommy you love me." And he turned around, he looked at me like he looked me in my eyes because his eye contact, like he give you direct eye contact, like yes,
yeah.
eyes. He grabbed my face and he kissed me, and when I tell you tears, I come. My mom, I said, "Mom, he just told me he loved me. He didn't say it, but he told me he loves me." And
that's how we receive it. That's what she does. That's what she does. She literally just comes up, like she'll be watching TV playing, and we'll be sitting down and whatever, and she just comes up, grabs us, hug us, give us this wild hug and kiss, and run off. It's just like, oh, that's so cute. Like she just would do these random little gestures of love, and I'm just like, she doesn't say it. But physically, she's aggressive with her love. Like, she's so aggressive. When she wants to hug you, well, that was the one thing that made me sad, too. I always envisioned when I had a baby, we'll be cuddling. She's so busybody. I don't know how they didn't say she had ADHD or something. This girl don't want to sit still. She needs to be up and moving and everything. So I would try to cuddle with her and, like, watch some of my favorite cartoons and stuff like that. And that was just a no-go. Like, no. I used to get so sad. Like, this
like,
supposed to share this moment together. Like, you don't watch movies with me or nothing. But, you know, gradually she's getting better. She'll start off, but then she'll get off and go about her business. But now she cuddles a little bit more. Not too long. Yeah. Especially when she's sleepy. She like, no, you're trying to put me to sleep. I'm getting up. So she gets up and she leaves. But, no.
Like, when you have a son, oh, boys, they love their mom. They want to be their mom. I'm like, my son don't care. Like, he don't be, like, him and his dad more so got, like, I don't want to say a better bond, but, like, they do. Like, him and his dad, he'll chill his dad and watch TV, or he'll, like, just chill for his dad. With me, he's more baby-fied. He wanted more. And...
You know, hopefully this helps you. I have learned that, at least in my observation, because you sound like you're hyper like me. This girl will sit and chill and be so calm around her dad. The moment I step in the door, it's over. Like, it's over. No sitting still, crying, getting in stuff, touching stuff, doing everything once I am around. But when she's only with her dad, she will just, I think they match the personality that they're around, because she will match his personality every single time. Yeah. She matches mine too. He's like, he always says it as a joke, like, she is you. When she's around you, she is you. Just hype. When she's with him, she's just like, completely different child. So I will say, maybe that gives you some type of comfort and solace. I think they match our energy and our personality. And sometimes, because we're hyper, we can't really receive the energy that they're giving at the time, because it's either like super high or like super low. Right. It's like a weird in between. Yeah. And yeah, it used to confuse me so bad.
Yeah, I can't. We did.
So, is he in like kindergarten, or is he going to daycare or anything like that?
He turns 5 after September, so he won't go to kindergarten. Okay.
So he's like, how did you feel about sending him to daycare? Let's talk about that. Were you terrified? Were you scared? Because I think we done scared the people, because to me and her dad, we done ran down the whole list of everything and how he want to know.
So when he was 7 or 8 months, he had went to daycare.
Sorry, I'm having trouble connecting to the internet. It looks like you missed the router in efforts. We'll try restarting. Unplug both of them.
Siri is so disrespectful. Alexa or Siri, they so rude.
Yeah, sent him to my brother's girlfriend's daycare. So it was like, I knew her all my. Okay. So, it was cool. This was when he was like, 7, 8 months. He was there until COVID hit. Once COVID hit, they had shut everything down, so he was home. Mm-hmm. So we kept him home like the whole time. Especially if he got diagnosed. I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to do. Like, I can't send him to school. And then, like, one of my really close friends has a daycare. Mm-hmm. I had talked to them. I'm like, I'm going to send him there. Then I'm like, nah, I'm going to send him there. So we ended up talking with them. Like, all right, I'm going to just send him. But I was pretty comfortable with him going to school because, like I said, one of my close friends, I knew her, but I could call all on FaceTime. Like, he did good at school. It was like my problem what I had with school, so he ended up having to get like a ABA, like a 1-on-1, because like,
Mm-hmm.
she had like 12, 13 kids in her class, so we needed somebody specifically, like, to help assist with him. And the company that
Mm-hmm.
for the ABA therapy, it was like the worst. Like the one day they wouldn't show up, they wouldn't call me and tell me they wasn't coming, or they'll just randomly call out. And then the one lady who got hired, she pregnant, mind you, she's like 7 months pregnant. She's like, oh, I can't help him tie his shoes. I can't bend down. My son, he's so cuddly, like he wants to sit on your lap.
Right. Yep. That's
So, oh, I pick him up. Oh, I can't do this. I'm like, well, why did you take the job when you knew, like,
the job. He's a toddler. You're gonna have to move
so it
around.
was just like so much with the whole ABA thing. So we ended up having to take him out of school for a while. I kept him home with me for a little bit. So he just started back at the same school he went to prior.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
She just got a new center or whatever. But he has other kids in his class now that's like him. So it's like he gravitating.
I see, that's the thing. I was terrified because there wasn't any kids in her daycare. The first one she started, there wasn't any kids like her.
Yeah.
And of course, daycare lied to me because of course they're going to tell you what you want to hear. Because I made sure I said to them, I said she hasn't been diagnosed or anything, but I'm going through the process of trying to get her evaluated. So there are some things about her. I went down the whole work. They assured me, yes, we'll make sure this, that, and the third. And then 2 weeks later, it's like, she needs some type of one-on-one. We can't do this. Then I'm worried about the kids because she wasn't the most interactive with other children. And the other kids were like super interactive. And, I'm just like, can you try to monitor to make sure that she does engage with the children? Of course, we would come pick her up. She's off in the corner by herself somewhere playing. So I noticed that. I'm like, I don't think they're really taking the initiative to really assist her in the areas that she needs assistance, and I get it. They have multiple kids in the classroom. So for me, that was just stressful every day. Her eating was a challenge because she only ate peanut butter and jelly, her fruit and vegetable smoothie, water, which is that she didn't drink juice or anything. She only drank water, but everything had to be room temperature. Now, I didn't know if that had anything to do with her diagnosis or because of the fact that I never gave her anything cold. So whenever she got anything cold, she was just like, even now, it's like real sensitive. Like, no, I don't do cold water, cold nothing. Just everything has to be room temperature.
Right.
So I'm not sure what the combination of that is. If it's just because I never gave it to her, but I do know she's funny with texture.
Okay.
So some stuff, if you give it to her like pizza, you have to like make sure it's like well done. Mm-hmm. Because if it's like really slimy or she can feel the cheese or the sauce, she's not touching it. She'll eat bananas, but only when they're like firm and like really ripe but firm.
Right.
She'll eat it. Other than that, she's not eating it. So I was worried about that. Her eating, she couldn't tell me anything. So I'm just like, this is not going to work out. I don't know what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
But then when we took her to her second daycare, they were so much better. Mm-hmm. Like they were so good. Even now, like her current play dates, I was worried about it. I'm like, my baby will never have friends, play dates, nothing. But when she went to her second daycare, there were these 3 little kids that apparently the teacher told me they like take a liking to her. They are like up on her every day, and she's like, I can tell she likes it, but she just doesn't know how to play back with them.
Right.
So once she left the daycare, the parents had connected with me because they were like, my kid talks about this little girl every day. So they're like, she has like play dates with them and stuff like that, which is really, really cool because I get to see like how these kids just like they understand her so well. She's not talking to them. She doesn't always play the way they want to play, but they will call and ask for her, like, can we see somebody? And I'm like, oh, I did not think this was going to happen. But it's good. It does. And I love it. Yeah. I'm very grateful.
That's how it is with my little cousin. I told you they're 2 months apart. She's obsessed, love him to death. I mean, and she thinks she his mom. Like, if we did, he has like.
That's how the one little girl is. She act like she.
Allergies. So he can't eat that, or he doesn't like that, or Kaden wants this. Like,
that's all the
come over. I want Kaden to come to my house. Like, she loves him to death, and all he do is sit next to her. He'll watch the show while she doing whatever, but she just want him in her presence. Like
that's literally how it is. She will just sit next to them when they play, or she'll run off. But they want, and I'm just like, that's so dope because kids just have like a universal sense of love and connectivity that is just unmatched. Like, I don't know what they're getting out of it because she's not conversating word wise. They're talking, they're saying stuff. They're like, come on, Samaya, do you want to do this? Do you want to do that? Let's do this. She's not saying yes, no, or anything. They're just like going along and dragging her along for the show. But it's so funny.
Yeah.
But I did notice like she's like really sensitive to noises. Like she hates the zoo. I don't know, animals scared the heck out of her. She would like put her hands over her ears and like covers herself. Like, have you experienced like anywhere or things that you've noticed is like really a trigger for him or makes
Yeah,
him really sensitive?
some stuff that bother him some days don't bother him another day. But sometimes when we're in the car,
That's
he
true.
can't hear the music too loud. He
Hmm.
doesn't like it. He doesn't really like when you really like. If he's not in the mood, don't be yelling around him. Let him off. If I'm not in the, like, if you're not, he's not in the mood. He wants you quiet. Like, don't be yelling.
Yeah.
He loves lights. Like
Yeah.
anything like he
Lights up.
got like a light pole outside our house, like the street light. And he wanted to
Hmm.
just go there and just look at it all night. Like
Yeah.
loves though. He likes like urban air, but he hates.
Oh, she loves
He
that.
hates
She loves that fully.
jump where if he's jumping on a square, he wants that square. Says
Hmm.
he don't want you coming on that square because once somebody else get on that square, that's it. He's ready to go. Like
Oh, she's the opposite. She be in the people's square. She jumping with them. I'm like, I don't even know these
yeah,
people. She's like all in their space. But yeah, she loves urban air. I noticed that. That's her place. That
yeah.
is her place. But
That's,
the zoo, no.
we went to the zoo once, but he didn't really like pay attention to it. He just more so he is a runner. He is fast too. So when we get to, he just want to take off and just run, like running around.
Oh yeah, if I don't be careful,
He wasn't paying.
I have to turn into a track star every time because
Him too.
she's very, very fast.
So thick it clips to my wrist and his wrist. So like
See, that's what I need. You be thinking I'm crazy. I keep saying I'm gonna get a baby leash or something because I need it.
people
She is too fast.
about having that on him, but I was letting them know this is how I don't care how y'all feel about it. Y'all can I'm walking and whatever. He ain't
I'm getting one. I need one because this girl be wearing me out and stressing me out because sometimes when you call her name, she won't respond and she's just like going and going. And I'm like, it depends on the head start that she has. I be terrified. Like my heart be pumping out my chest trying to chase her.
And he don't
yeah.
He don't care. He don't have no fear of strangers, and that's my biggest fear with him. A stranger can walk up to him and be like, "Oh, come on," and he'll go. Like he don't like he'll walk up to random people and just like try to sit on their lap or like.
She does that. She doesn't do it to everybody, but randomly she'll pick a selective person and sit on their lap, hug them.
Yeah, just walk off. I'm like, that's my biggest fear.
Yeah, and walk off. I'll be like, "Excuse me." They're like, "No, it's fine."
Enough, and he'll walk right up, take a fry, like he don't care.
Take their stuff. She sees candy because now she's discovered candy because I didn't used to give it to her, but she discovered it. So now if she notices it, she's like running up to it. Somebody's stuff, and she's like, I'm like, "Please forgive my child."
That's all I keep saying is, "I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry."
Like, "I'm sorry. Forgive her, please. She don't mean no harm." Like we were at the dentist the other day. She just ran up to the guy and rubbed his face and hugged him. I'm like, "Ma'am, that is not your dad, nor does he remind you of your dad. You cannot do this to everybody in public." She doesn't care. I love that, I haven't come in contact with anybody that was like really nasty about it or anything. So I kind of was able to like put my guard down as far as like how people would respond to her. So yeah,
that was
people are usually like, "No, that's fine."
for me. And
I was terrified.
Is when he do stuff, sometimes I'll try to like prevent, because I don't want nobody saying nothing to him because I know me. We're not playing.
That's my thing.
Like no, I had like one experience at the market. He's like when he gets excited, he'll like he'll shake. Like,
yeah.
Like random outbursts that he does.
Yep, she doesn't too.
He doesn't cover his mouth. Like he doesn't comprehend that when you sneeze, you gotta cover your mouth.
Yeah, when you sneeze or cough. Yep.
In the market, he was being loud. This lady in line behind us, and he sneezed. But the first time I seen it coming, I'll normally try to cover his mouth. So the first time I seen him sneeze, I'm taking the stuff out of my cart, and he sneezed again. But mind you, we switched the cart. You want my baby? My son sneezed, and it's I don't want to say but this white lady, she was standing behind me, and she was like, and that's why I had on a mask. Mind you, she older. Or you should step back. If you are on her back, like, you know.
That's good.
And he ended up doing something else. I don't know. She said something else and I snapped because we're not about to play with you and miss. Like, if he could cover his mouth, he would. But again, you shouldn't be that close to us. Back your card up. He not gonna cover his mouth, and if he sneezes again, he sneezes again. Like, what we gonna do about it? I be having to prevent myself from getting like that.
Yeah, no, because it really is a trigger. Like I said, that was one of the things. I went like straight into like protective mode. Like I don't want you saying nothing to me that I feel is offensive. Don't say something that I feel like you're trying to label or make her look a certain way. Like, and I don't know, those things are like really triggering. So it was cool to see how receptive people were, and there were some people that would just say it like, you know, is she on the spectrum? Because I have a niece that's like that, so I recognized when she came up to me, when she grabbed my shoulder, when she held my hand and stuff like that. Now, I lied. I had one horrible experience at gymnastics. This was recent. She had just finally started getting used to the kids there, so she was real excited this day. She kept wanting to hug everybody. She wanted to dance with them and everything, but she's so rough. So I'm like having to run and monitor. But first, there was this one little girl that was just like super sensitive. Like she was crying for everything. The one time the lady was helping my daughter on the thing and she ran past and her hand hit her and she cried, said my daughter hit her. And the lady was like, no one hit her. She ran into her hand. So the second time she's playing and my daughter went to hug her, but she like tried to throw herself out. So now my daughter's like trying to prevent. I noticed that she's protective of kids that's like a little smaller. So she's like trying to like help her up because she's hugging her, but she's throwing herself to the ground. So she's like trying to help her up, and the dad's like, you need to get your child, and like screaming. And I'm just like, hold up. So me and him like went back and forth. Then I'm like, it's all these kids in here. Like, this is just so unnecessary. Right. So I walked out and I left, but I was like super upset. And you know, two ladies came out to me and they're just like, no, if you don't take her out, bring her, let her interact. If you need some assistance while we're here, we don't mind helping you, but we see that she's really enjoying it and she's getting better. Like, don't be discouraged by it. But that was, I think, the only. Like, she was really just trying to hug the little girl, but the little girl was so much smaller than her that it just turned out bad. But that is like the biggest struggle that I was very worried about, because I know I will react and it's not going to be nice. I'm reacting to every single thing. So I am happy that I decided to stop holding it in and bottling it in and just free myself. Because the more I freed myself emotionally, the better able I was to assist her and get her the help she needs without being so emotionally attached to it. Because if I didn't do that, I feel like she wouldn't make any of the progress that she's made. If I stayed in denial, then, you know, because the one thing they told me was that, you know, she's on the spectrum, but she's at level 2. So if you consistently do what she needs to do, she possibly could, you know, get to a place where you won't even know. Right. So I was just like, okay, well, let me not make this worse than what it actually is, because I'm so emotional about it. And although, yes, I felt like I didn't get certain normal experiences, I'm super grateful for the experiences that I do get with her, because I just feel like her love is unique. Like, her personality is unique. Her strong-willed mindset is just like so unique to me, because I'm like, you cannot bribe this child to do anything she doesn't want to do. Right. It's like no, and it's a no. It's a firm no. If she's determined to do something, no matter how many times I pulled her away, I stopped her, I popped her, she is going to that thing and she's getting it done and she's going to master it. That's one of the things I noticed about her too. She loves a challenge, and I'm like that, but she loves a challenge. And until, like, whenever you brought her a new toy, she would play with that one toy for days. And once she mastered the whole thing, it's like, okay, I'm done with that now. Pass me another toy. Like, she will master the crap out of something, and then it's like, okay, give me something else. She gets bored, and that's how I am though in real life. Like, once I get bored, it's like, okay, what's the next thing? And that's how she is. So it's like there's a lot of unique things that I've watched and learned about her, and she's fearless. She's not afraid of anybody. That's for sure. She is not afraid of anybody.
He run the show. He run every house we go to. I'm in charge.
Oh, all the time. All the time. That's why I don't be wanting to go to nobody's house, because I'm not buying anything. I'm not replacing anything. She break it. It's not my child. It's like, no, but right. But one of her things she loves music. Is there anything that music and instruments are her thing, and strings? How does he like receive like music or anything that
I'm gonna say he
learn?
does like this one like little Elmo song that they do, but like I told you, lights. Anything that lights up,
Like you did say that.
Hold his attention for a while. And he also likes Slinkies. Loves Slinkies. I can get him a Slinky, and I got some quiet time for him because he'll sit there and he'll play with there for a while. But he likes like a lot of fidget, like little toys, like little stuff that he can play with his hands, straws, like thing that he can like with his hand. He doesn't really play with toys though. Like his dad, he got a million toys. His dad always trying to make him sit and play with toys. I'm like,
girl, I'm ready to throw that box out. I'd be tempted to throw that box out, but I feel mean because she doesn't play with anything in there. She plays with all the furniture, all the remotes, everything else. The only thing she really loves is strings.
I gotta be mindful to watch him because everything goes in his mouth. Like he puts in his mouth. Like, and I'm like, they're driving crazy because I mean we can be out at the market. He'll lick the shopping cart. I'm like, boy.
I'm sorry. Sometimes I be feeling so guilty because I get so scared that she's gonna put something in her mouth that's gonna harm her that it causes me to react instead of like responding to her. I'm just like, what are you doing? You can't do that. She wanna put soap in her mouth. She I'm still trying to get better at how I respond to that, but I be so scared. Like this is gonna be the thing that sends her in the hospital.
2 nights ago when I'm lotioning him, and he likes to put the lotion in his hand.
I
put the lotion in his hand, girl. He licked. I said, you know what? He ate the lotion. What am I supposed to do? She said, girl, fine.
At this point, I said, you know, if I ate half the stuff this child ate, I'll be dead or in the hospital.
He never had hair, foot, and mouth, surprisingly. And I mean, he puts everything mouth, like
everything in her. When I say there's nothing that's unturned when it comes to what will go in her mouth. And it scares me so bad because I'm just like, I'm going to the hospital. Like this is not going to work. Like you have to stop doing these things, and she doesn't care.
We was at the park. We was at a park in Disney, like at an amusement park, and I had his hand in line. I was like scrolling on my phone, but I got his hand. The lady like, ma'am. So I'm like, I turned the whole like, just lick it so bad. I said, you know what? Like,
I'm sorry, I don't mean to laugh, but some of the stuff they do can be so embarrassing, especially when you don't notice it and other people are like,
she said,
what are you doing?
I'm like, what? I got my baby. I said, oh my God, the damn baby licking at Disney. Everybody done touched this pole today. He's licking it. And I mean,
just licking it. But, you know, what I am grateful for is just so funny that I can even like laugh about this. Because it's like before it just I wouldn't hear it funny. Like I would just be like, what is wrong with my kid? Like, how are you doing this? Like are you like stop? Like you're gonna get hurt or this is so embarrassing. I gotta keep explaining this stuff to people. But now it's just some stuff I do laugh at it because I just be like, this girl is up to no good.
I'm not as emotional about it as I was. I mean, don't get me wrong. Days I'd be crying. I'd be like, this is hard. This is hard. But I can talk about it. Like before we have this conversation, because I would be in tears. Like just even me thinking about it, because I heard you mention like you feel like you're missing out on some things. Like I be feeling like it too, especially when I see my friends out with their kids doing this, or like my little cousin. She'll just walk up to her mom like, "Mommy, I love you. You look so pretty today."
I know. Oh my God, that's the
like you look pretty today. Like, why you even told me Mommy look pretty today? Like, or just like doing stuff with him in general. Like he doesn't like movies once to see Boss Baby too. It came out in the movie theater and he loves Boss Baby, but I think like just the scenery, like he was in a chair, he's standing up, he looking behind, so we can't really do that. And then
I've opted out of that. I said to myself, whose kid am I taking to watch The Little Mermaid with me? Because I know it ain't my kid. She's not going to watch it.
My cousin, I said I'm gonna take my twin niece. It'd be like little movies, little anime movies. I'd be like, oh, this would be cute to see, but he ain't sitting.
She's not really into movies. If it's not anything that has to do with like counting, letters, learning, or sometimes like the Arabic cartoons.
Oh, well, that's
it.
That's good.
She's not. She's not really like a tuned
like
into
ABC.
Huh?
His dad or like forced the ABC shows on them a little bit. And
No, ever since she was small, that was the first thing I noticed she loved, the ABC sound. Like, if we wanted her to smile in the picture, all I had to do was sing ABC, and she would just bust out smiling, laughing. That her dad just was like, "You get the best pictures." I'm like, "Cause I sang ABC while I'm taking them," and she laughs because she loves it. Ever since she was little, so now that's her thing. If it's nothing to do with that, she'll pay some mind, but
not really,
not too much mind. Really, it's like, I'm on to the next thing. That's not really her thing, but. So do you have, okay, so as far as your event, give us some information about that. Like, how often do you do it? What do you usually, what happens there? What do you usually ask for? So, like, other people can get involved or be a part of it. How is it benefiting, other families as well? I want you to share that.
Do the event once a year. This year we had to do it in May. I normally do it in April because that's Autism Awareness Month. But something happened with the venue that I had, so I had to end up pushing it back. Whatever. So, yeah, we just do, like, everything's free. I do all this fun stuff for the kids. We have a DJ, we have a face painter. Oh, the DJ is a kid also. He's 11. And the face painter is 9. She's a kid too. Baby doing their thing. We had like that. We had a popcorn machine, a cotton candy machine. I get a moon bounce. Food, water ice, pretzels, like anything you probably think I will have there. I normally make like little gift bags for them to take, like with a toy in it. We have an information station where we give out pamphlets about autism. We'll give out little like bracelets and like little pins and stuff. He has merchandise that he sells with like his picture here as well. But pretty much this year I had a speaker come too. She's like an autism awareness advocate, who said she's going to help me next year get some grants because we be paying for this stuff out of pocket. People do be donating. Thank you to all my donators. Some of y'all in here. But people do donate, but it's pricey, child, because like I told you, everything is free. And we be having to get a lot of stuff because we be having like a lot of people come. But so for the most part, I want to make the day fun for the kids. While the parents are getting some information about the autism awareness, so they can teach their kids, like, be kind of stuff, because kids are mean. Like some kids,
I'm so glad you pointed that out, because I said that when I saw it one time in the summer. We were at the pool here, and there was this little boy, and she, she wanted to play with him, but of course her approach was different. It wasn't like the normal kid approach. So he was just like, "What's wrong with her? You're weird." And so that kind of like, I was just like, he's a kid. Don't jump in the pool and try to attack the child. But I said, and then when I see the little kids that she connected with at the daycare, I'm like, you can tell so much in the difference of a household with a child, because their approach is just like the opposite from that little boy's approach towards her. Of course, I'm sure they realize that she is very different from them. But again, they have chosen to approach her with love versus like judgment and, being rude. Whereas in this kid and the other kids I've seen, it was just like so rude. So that even had me more like, oh my God, she's never going to be able to like really like connect with other kids, because these kids are so mean sometimes. So I'm glad you said that. Parents do need to learn so that they can teach their kids how to connect with other kids that are not like them in the world, because that it can be hurtful, and it does make a difference. I do believe that we're all here to help each other in some way, form. Yes, you might not have a child with autism, but it's good to know so that when your kid comes in contact with one,
it's not even with kids with autism, like all kids with all disabilities all over the world. Like, you're gonna be
nice
in the world, and that's what people don't teach. People don't teach love at home with their kids. They need to teach their kids the love. We had an experience the other day. We was at my cousin's house. She does hair. She was doing this little boy's hair or whatever. Little boy is, I think he's 5. So when me and my son was coming up, she was telling him like, "Hey, babe, my cousin coming in, but he doesn't talk. Like, he has autism, so be nice to him, because little boy, he a little rough or whatever." So she had just explained to him before he came in, like, he doesn't talk, he might not, play like you like to play, but you have to be nice to him. So like we like an hour in now, he trying to play with him. So I was like, he was trying to show him the iPad, and I was like, "Bash, he don't really know like what you trying to show him how to play a game." He was like, "I just want to sit with him. Like, I'm just trying to sit with him and be nice." And I know he don't talk, okay, like. So it's like, all you have to do is have a conversation with them. These kids smart. They you know, they
They're
respond.
smart. They really are smart, and they will receive what you tell them and how you present it to them. And I do believe that. So that is beautiful that, you know, the event is open to everybody,
Yeah.
even if you don't have children with autism.
Yeah.
Because I think the information is important. Because prior to my child being diagnosed, I was so in the dark about this, to the point where I didn't even recognize that I did have an aunt that has autism. But, you know, growing up, being born in Jamaica and growing up, that's not, when it comes to like mental health awareness and all that, that stuff was just not something that even was prevalent to us. So I never put the connection that that's what my mom's sister had all these years. She's been the same for years. She's not verbal. She doesn't really talk. If she does, it comes out more like babble, or she says certain words or whatever. And I never, up until I had my daughter, because I kept saying, where did this come from? I don't have this. Like, I don't know if anybody in my family, so oblivious. Like, my aunt, literally, my mother's sister, has been like this her entire life. How did I miss that? Where the connection could have possibly come from?
I talked about, so it's just like,
it was never taught. Nobody ever said to me, oh, she has autism.
Yeah.
I don't even want to say what they say, because, you know, sometimes Jamaican can be a little
rude. I know.
They don't have no behavior, so I won't say what they call it for years. But yeah, I was very uneducated about it. But I would love to keep in touch and keep up to date, because I would definitely love to attend your event next year. Before we got started, I didn't even tell you, inshallah, I am a personal trainer. I'm a life coach as well. Mom, wife, I do everything around household and my child. So yeah, I do public speaking, I do blogging, but most primarily I do want to familiarize myself with more of the things that can help me become more educated with my child condition, so that I can educate other people that do come in contact with her even more, and just, you know, grow into it. Like, I'm better these days, but there's still, you know, there's still moments, because sometimes my mind jumps far ahead, and it's like, well, will she ever move out and live on her own? Like, I don't think that's going to be possible. Like, would I experience being a grandmom? And then I'm like, here, I'm saying I only want one kid, but I might not never be a grandmom if, you know, she isn't at a place where she can, like, you know, be on her own, or, like, you know, get married or have children. So it's like, my mind goes way far down there. Like,
it's bedtime. That's when I start thinking about, like, I can literally cry myself to sleep. Like, my own thoughts will put me in that place, like, thinking about the stuff he won't do. Like, what if he never? Because I think I grasped the fact that he may never speak.
Yeah.
With it, but it's just like, what about the other things? Like, what am I going to do next year when it's time for kindergarten? Like, that kind of stuff at night, like, it be having me up.
I was terrified. I was scared. I didn't want her to leave her daycare, because I had gotten so comfortable with them. They were so good with her. She was just, like, so connected with them. I was like, oh no, this is not going to work. When she leaves, what am I going to do? I'm going to be scared all over again. But she seems to be adjusting pretty well. They kind of are getting the hang of her and how she is.
Does she have school?
They come, so they're not there every day, which is the problem that I'm trying to work out, because I feel like I do want her to have somebody there one-on-one outside of her therapist coming. I get that her classroom does have other children that, you know, have autism as well, but she doesn't have a one-on-one, and that's the thing that I'm trying to understand, because they're like, oh, it's through the state, but I'm like, I don't think the speech therapist and them coming when they come is enough, because when they leave, what happens throughout the rest of the day?
Right, because they were there for an hour, so. But
there's like 3 other assistants in the classroom with them, so I guess they kind of help assist, but yeah. But I do always feel like she needs one-on-one, because she's that rowdy.
For kindergarten, I'm hoping he could get maybe like a one-on-one. I'll just feel better about it, because if not all day, I'm gonna be thinking like, what's going on? Like, what is he doing? Like, how's he like?
I understand that security is everything, because they can't come and tell you what's wrong. And that's my biggest thing.
It's fear.
You can't tell me what is wrong or what somebody did or said.
Like, you can't tell me. And like, I don't want to think about it, but people are crazy. People do stuff to kids like all the time.
The only thing I can go by is she's really expressive in her connectivity with people. So if I notice kind of like
standoffish to you. Yeah.
with a person that I know she sees every day, then I know it's
So,
something she's not really connected to. You did something, or something about your energy ain't too right, because the people that she sees on a daily basis, she grows very affectionate and connected to them.
Yeah.
So when I usually try to pay attention to that in that sense, because she is good like that. She will give you not feeling her.
Right. Yeah.
And it's like, okay,
He like
I got you.
sometimes like, yeah, I ain't really feeling it today. Like, no.
Oh yeah, you don't know what mood or what child you're getting every day.
Right.
And you know, I've started to try to put that in a positive perspective. It's like it's an adventure.
Yeah.
It's spontaneous. I feel like life, momming with autism is a very spontaneous life because it's very random. It's exciting. It's adventurous. It's high. It's low.
Some days we be
quite the
scared,
adventure.
excited, and some days it's like we had to work. Like he had meltdowns all day, and like his meltdowns, they be meltdowns.
Yeah.
Okay. Like, and sometimes they like for a while. So
last for a while.
What I'm getting. So in the morning he wake up, he's smiling. I'm like, all right, this gonna be a good day. If I pop in there, I'm like, son, he be like, I'm like, all right, the day, like.
Yeah, you really have to check the meter. You really have to check the meter.
I'll peek in.
You really do.
What you want today? Like,
yep. You really have to check the meter. You just learn to, like, sometimes when my mom come here or like my friend, they see her doing certain stuff because she's a climber, and they're like, oh my gosh, she's gonna get hurt. And either me or her, I'm sitting on the couch like, then like, you don't. I'm like, she do this all day, every day. Ain't nothing happening to this child. She gonna climb up there. She gonna jump down. She's gonna do this 10 more times until she feels satisfied and want to go sit down somewhere. I can't call her name all day and get up and chase her every single time. This
gonna keep
her
back up there.
That's why my house is completely childproof.
Right.
Everything is proofed because she will do what she wants. But I'm so happy about this live. This live was different, but it was so refreshing because, you know, I think when people hear, you know, having a kid with autism, it's supposed to like instantly feel sad or like a very serious downward monotone. But I'm happy that we're both we're not all the way like, you know, great and dandy with everything, but we're in a space where it can be comedic, it can be a relief, it could be funny, it could just be, it is what it is, right? And I hope that everyone watching did get that from this. Like, if you have a child with autism or anybody you know, it's like, you know, you can probably share that. It's like, it's not a death sentence. It's not the end of the world, like I thought.
I realized that. That's what me, like when me and my mom was talking, and feel like it's not the worst thing in the world. I'm like, you know what? It's not. Once I like got the purchase, it's not.
And it could, and like really, it could always be worse. Like you said, you have to go through physical therapy. I didn't have to go through any physical ailments with her at all. Yeah, that never an issue for her. She didn't want to walk. She didn't crawl at all. My baby went straight to walking.
Okay.
She didn't want to do the crawling and the tummy time thing. That wasn't her thing, child. She used to be so mad. But that wasn't her thing. She just went straight to walking. And so, you know, there's like always some.
He walks really good now, but he still want to get he still put his arm, like me and his dad. Well, his dad more so make him walk. He be like, boy, like you walking, but I'm like, look, I don't want to make you cry. Come on. But he still, like, he wants to get picked up. He's big as
it's that only child thing because her dad, as big as her legs dangling, as tall as she get, he will still be holding her up in the air. And I'm looking at him like, you know you can put her down, right? Like, he consistently does that. I'm like, for me, she half my size already, so I'm not, I can't. She be wanting me to, but I'm like, girl, you're heavy. I can't do that. Your dad can do that.
Again, if we go places, I take my wagon. So, cause
that's what I said. I need to get this summer.
Yeah, I can send you the one that I got. Actually, my sister got them, but I can send it to you. I'll send you a link for that.
Please do, because I'm not dealing with this summer. I just can't.
His feet was dragging on the floor with the stroller.
I remember when we got rid of her stroller, her dad was like, you sure you want to get rid of her? I'm not taking on this big old stroller everywhere. It's getting on my nerves. Oh, I regret the day I got rid of the stroller, honey, because baby, now she's a little better. Like when we go to stores and stuff, I can kind of trust her to like walk with me, but she's very impatient when it comes to like lines and sitting there. She would cry her behind off and just make the whole experience like the worst thing ever in the world. I'm just like, I'm never taking you back to the store.
I want to use the word hate, but I do not like taking him to the store.
I don't. I feel your pain. You don't have to say the hate, but
by myself. Everything I put in the cart, he want to open. Everything I don't like, oh my God, we get mine like you stuff up there. He's screaming. I'm like, yo, taking him.
I hate it. Like you said, I don't even want to say hate, but I just can't. I can't stand it. The store runs, I can't do with her.
Not go.
She hates lines. She don't want to wait. It's not moving fast enough. Man, she hates lines so much that we took her to this amusement park out in Pierre. The girl cried every ride.
Oh.
It's so bad we have to end up going home. I'm like, I'm going home because you're not sitting. She don't want to wait in line. She's screaming. She wants to bust in front of everybody.
Where was the amusement park?
It was Lancaster, I think.
Oh, was it like?
It was like a castle. It was like it's called Castle. It was Castle something. It looked like a little castle too, but it's like out here.
When we went to Disney, I had told him that he has a special need or whatever, and we got these fast passes where it was letting us go to like the front.
Really?
I'm not sure about that specific park, but I know every park that we did in Disney, we were able to get like either
that's good.
Easy pass.
Well, now that I know that, next time I take it to an amusement park, I will ask to see it because I didn't know that.
From now on, when I take him, that was the perks too. He's getting the front of the line.
Yes, that's that. I would ask that. I never asked that. So that but she was not. It was the last ride. Just threw it over the edge. She just cried and cried. The people are looking at us. And I'm just like, let's just go home. I just can't do this anymore. So those are like some of the lows that still occur. It's just like, why can't you just participate today? Just one day. And then you feel bad because it's like a part of you is like you kind of can't. Like this is just who you are, but
just like be good. Just give mommy 1 hour, please. But
one day. But no, alhamdulillah, I am grateful for this live. I'm grateful that I connected with you.
Yes.
I hope that and that you're good. Thank you for accepting, and I hope that this event continues to just like flourish and increase and do so much for every parent with children, people without children that want children.
Right.
I hope that it's something that can expand and touch every household. I pray that for you.
It gets bigger each year so we can get that out, the message out to more people. Again, thank you for having me. I plan on making a video soon. My friends keep encouraging me to basically just tell my story from like start to where we are.
You should.
So I'm gonna try.
You should.
I tried to record.
I did a live when I first that was my first live, just like going into it the whole. So you should because maybe you'll find some more things to uncover. You really should. I encourage it. But when you're ready and you feel in that space to really do it. But I think you're great.
Soon I'll be working on it.
Yes. And I wish you much success on your momming life with autism because it is quite the adventure.
Right?
It is quite the adventure.
Keep in touch with you. Like I said, I will keep you updated for
the
upcoming event next year.
Mm-hmm. And please send me the wagon.
Oh, I will.
Have a good night, love. You're welcome.